Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining today from the City Hall. It is great office there. You need some pictures. Chad Brecklin, our city administrator. Chad, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
I am good, Jeremy. How are you doing today?
Good. I've got a few pictures that I think would fit really well there. A big Fact TV one would do really well there. You think you would entertain having that in your office?
It's a little bit of a blank canvas, to say the least. So I suppose I could have a design the administrator's office walls contest, but I guess I don't know what I might get for suggestions and ideas either.
That you'd have to have the disclaimer at the discretion of city
Yes,
administrator if you
yes,
do pull that
subject
one.
to approval.
I love it. I think that's a good idea. Good morale booster right there to kick things off. Chad, you're still getting familiar with the role, but we do have some updates that you bring to us. And right away here, you are right in the middle of budget time this week, and not that you're not familiar with budget, which is awesome. You know our processes here. Just being on the other side, though, is going to be very interesting. But tell us where we are on the budget process.
So we have two budgets in the city, just for some brief background information. One being the capital improvement plan, which is a 10-year planning process that identifies large capital expenditure type projects. We're talking road construction projects, we're talking building projects, we're talking stormwater retention issues or projects to address those. So those type of things, typically larger dollar amounts, projects that are going to last multiple years as far as their lifespan and those sorts of things. And then we also have the operating budget, which is what covers our day-to-day expenditures across the city. So we just recently finished up our capital improvement process at the end of July, our second meeting in July, or actually our only meeting in July, because the first one had been canceled for the council, was done, and approval of the next CIP was completed. And we again have a 10-year plan that's been approved by council. Probably the most notable thing to come out of the CIP process was a number of stormwater projects were discussed and slated for some work by the city over the next several years here to address a variety of stormwater related issues, among many other projects as well.
Absolutely. As far as budget goes, how does that process break down? I guess the steps before the public actually sees the first version of the mayor's proposed budget.
Are you talking CIP now, or did you want to transition to operating?
Operating budget.
Yeah, operating budget, all of the departments have submitted their draft or budget requests for their particular department operations. We'll be meeting this week with the mayor and department heads and the finance director to go through those budgets from each department and get a better understanding of their requests and the need for the items that they've requested in their operating budget. The mayor will take that information and ultimately develop a budget, an operating budget that he will provide to the public. Believe that goes out at some point in September, if I recall correctly, towards the end of September, I believe. And then early October, the city council alders have the ability to submit amendments to the mayor's budget. And then at that point in time, the public obviously will have an opportunity to evaluate both the mayor's proposed budget as well as the amendments that are proposed by the alders. That will take place during the month of October. And then ultimately the council will vote on the amendments, proposed amendments, and then the ultimate final budget as adopted by the council will likely occur the first council meeting in November.
And we're going to see a lot of talk, and something I should have said in our pre-meeting here, but do want to talk about it. You'll see some stuff talking about town of Madison. How does that roll into the budget process this year?
Yeah, so as everyone is probably aware, there is a cooperative border agreement with the city of Fitchburg, town of Madison, and city of Madison that will have a portion of the town of Madison coming into the city of Fitchburg in October of 2022. As you can imagine, every department has identified its operational impacts to include additional personnel, equipment, other sort of infrastructure related projects. So the city will be examining those list of requests and looking to try to prioritize them in the best fashion we have available to us, knowing that the need certainly is going to outstrip the ability to provide funding for those needs. So we'll be going through the difficult process of trying to prioritize those and recognizing that not every request is going to be able to be filled, which we know is unfortunate. Clearly department heads would not submit for these things if they didn't feel they were a need. But of course, the ability to pay is a consideration that we have to take into consideration, as well as what the impact is to taxpayers.
Absolutely. And all of that will be unfolding here the next couple months. We'll have it right here on Fact TV, of course, on our government channel, so you can check out as those come forward. Redistricting, you have an update on the redistricting and where that's going here in the near future.
Yeah, so every 10 years in conjunction with the annual census that's done by the federal government, municipalities, county governments, state governments do what's called redistricting to determine what the boundaries will be as far as who will be representing you as an elected official. So the city has just received some information from Dane County. They are going to be anticipating receiving that data from the census later this month. They'll be spending September working on the county redistricting process and then ultimately turning that process into a finalized draft situation by mid-October. It's at that point that we're anticipating Fitchburg will be able to at least begin in earnest its redistricting efforts. I know the mayor is looking to put together an ad hoc committee to tackle this project. And we're going to have a pretty short window. We have to submit our proposed redistricting maps to the county by early November. So it's definitely going to be a short process. Typically, this process begins in like May, usually, but because of the delay in getting the census data to municipalities, it's really compressed the timeline. So if anyone has an interest in the redistricting process, they should stay tuned because information is going to be forthcoming and it's going to be a pretty, again, compacted timeline to do it.
All right, we'll keep an eye out for that and pass that information on. Finally, stormwater update for Cheryl Drive. What do you have for us on that?
Yeah, so the city, one of the areas that the city is looking at addressing some stormwater issues is the Cheryl Drive corridor that is west of Fish Hatchery Road and east of, say, Richardson Street. So for folks that live in that particular neighborhood, they received communications recently from the city about a neighborhood meeting to talk about the planning process and potential solutions for that stormwater solution. And that meeting is going to take place Thursday, August 26th at 6 p.m. here in City Hall. Folks also have the option to join virtually. There is a Zoom link that folks can register for if they prefer to attend remotely versus in person.
Perfect. And of course, we'll have that one for you too, right here on Fact TV as well. Just love to tie that in right back.
Yeah, Fact TV is everywhere, thankfully.
That's right. We're glad to help out. Chad, thank you so much for your time. Keep up the good work, and we'll check back in with you next month.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You bet. Chad Brecklin, your city administrator here for the city of Fitchburg. We'll check back in with him next month. Take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.